marvelous morning, wonderful afternoon, and fantastic evening. This is Carla from MindPlore with Carla and Friends doing her third show today. So you can imagine where Carla's coming from right now. Help me out, please. We are talking about friendship. And I want to tell you that this guy next to me, Victor Irving Jenkins, has really put up with a lot from me in the past year, but he keeps on coming. And I see that as friendship. The people I have on the team are people who have become friends. Nadeem, I just met maybe a month or two ago. I don't even remember, but he has been there for me too. And it's that friendship that keeps me going when it comes to the show. Pastor Billy will be here at some point. He had a procedure to be done in the hospital, and he said, I'll be there by 11:25. Well, you're in a hospital, things run late, and he should be here, I'm going to guess, in about 10 or 15 minutes, but don't hold me to it. So, talking about what is a friend and how we make friends, I want to start with Victor, because I have some work to do in order to get this show completely out. Victor, please tell me what you see.
Pardon me. A friend would say, excuse me, when he clears his throat. I'll just begin with that.
Good one, Victor. Very
well, since we don't naturally become friends, I think it would be important to talk about the obstacles to becoming a friend. And if I had to isolate the biggest obstacle to being friendly, to becoming a friend, that obstacle would be selfishness. Thinking of ourselves and our good. Now, certainly you have to love yourself in order to love someone else. Certainly you have to treat yourself well in order to treat someone else well. But sometimes there is a disproportionate balance in our attention to ourselves and our attention to friends. Friend is what occurs on the way to being able to love people. And I'm not talking about the sort of love that you read about in novels or see on movies. I'm talking about the love that they talk about in the Bible, the agape love, where you love just because that is what you do. Until you realize that the way that you see things is only the way that you see them, it's also a little difficult to be friendly. There is a verse in scripture that says, for a man to have friends, he must show himself friendly. And the number one way that I show myself friendly is by listening to the person that may be my friend. Before I do anything else, I listen to the person that may be my friend. Now, I haven't always been this way. It's just over the course of my life, I find that one of the easiest ways to make friends is to listen. Besides, what comes out of a person's mouth is a good indication of what's in their heart. And if things in their heart do not resonate with things in your heart, well, they may not turn out to be a friend. So it makes sense to listen. And listening is an important activity before you become friends. And as long as I've been talking now, which is probably about 2.5, 3 minutes, if I don't let someone else on this panel have a word or something to say, they're probably not going to be my friend, and that's for sure. So, Nadeem, tell
Well,
me.
actually, I'm back to you before you do that. And I will continue what I need to do. You have put up with quite a bit from me because we have worked through quite a bit. How do you consider a friend who kind of, we've had rough moments and we've had very smooth moments. Is that part of friendship?
It is part of friendship, but as I said in the beginning, you have to really have a high regard for yourself. And a lot of times, if you are okay with you, and I'm really okay with me, and you understand that you are not perfect, then you decrease your expectations of others being perfect. And an expectation of the person that you're being friends with being perfect is not really a good thing in my mind. People seem to operate from their vantage point, not my vantage point. And a long time ago, someone quoted to me saying, even though they're your friends, there's no requirement for you to fix your friends. Like me, people are responding to their interpretation of the data that comes into them from the rest of the world. And chances are, no one's doing anything to upset my apple cart. See, I realize that if I feel uneasy, it's not because of the person I'm talking to, it's because of how I am translating what they're saying. And having that understanding, a lot of things are just simply something for me to notice. It's not something for me to react to. Because in order to turn over my apple cart, you have to work awfully hard at figuring out what it means to my apple cart to be upright. And you have to also forget yourself. In order for you, Carla, to inflict pain upon me, you're going to have to stop paying attention to Carla. And the chances are you're not going to do that.
You actually don't know that, Victor. But that's a whole other conversation. But we have gone through a lot. And if you didn't want me as a friend, you could have gotten rid of me a while ago. Am I right or wrong?
I didn't hear the word you said.
I'm not, do you hear me now?
It's not coming in clearly.
Nadeem, really, you need to not move your mic. That's making it difficult on everyone. Please keep it still. Okay. We have dealt with friendship. Would you be and see us as friends?
I only hear every other word that you're saying.
Pastor Billy, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
All right. Very good. Well, I talk loud.
Hold on for one moment. Nadeem, can you hear me clearly? Yes or no?
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you hearing every word?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was my connection, but it is not, Victor. Stay around.
You're coming in clearly now.
Technology can do weird things. You know it, and I know it.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff happens on MindPlore, but it's good weird. It's like John Lewis said, good.
Okay, so we're talking about weird. It's weirdness a part of friendship.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I was delayed getting here to my favorite.
About it, I already took care of that for you.
Yeah, and I have a real practical illustration, and I know Irving is really he's gonna love me more for this when I say it. But I was delayed getting on the call today because of a doctor's appointment. But you know what I've been doing? Whenever I go, yesterday I went out and I bought 10 bunches of flowers. Okay. So here they are, 10 bunches of flowers. And when I was at the doctor's office and I brought in 3 bunches of flowers to the office help, to the doctor's assistant, and other people at the doctor's. The only guy that brought in flowers for us. And these flowers, they cost like $4 a bunch in the Republic of Philadelphia. So, a simple gesture like that endears you to whoever you give them to. I'm on my way to my bank, and I'm always bringing the bank vice president flowers. I don't give flowers to guys. I only do it with those of the female gender. So it's a very simple of expression, and I'm telling you.
Okay, Pastor Billy. Pastor, I can't hear you. Pastor Billy, let us know when you're in a better connection, because we cannot hear you. Nadeem, you need to do something about that, Mike, but could you tell us your impression of friendship? And I need to mute myself for a few moments. Nadeem.
Yes, Carla. As
Pastor Billy, we cannot hear you.
Now you can't see him.
Yeah, you can hear me now. Yeah. As far as my concern, a true friend is someone who sees the pain in your eyes while everyone else believes the smile on your face. So, and also we talk about that we need to see the likeness in others, what things we like and what things others to whom we are making friends. So for that, I think self-awareness is a big thing. We should be self-aware of ourselves, that what things we like, what things we don't like. In that case, we will be better understand that what things we are going to look in another person to whom we are going to make friends. So also there are different kinds of friendships. Like if we are in education system, like in my school, then if I'm going to study group study, if I'm going to study one subject, then it will be some you can say intellectual based friendships, that everybody friend goal is to pass some subjects or some things. Then if there is a goal involved in that friendship, the mutual goal, then it is called intellectual friendship. Then there is other friendship, socio friendships, like if we are working in any workplace and we make friends. So it's very necessary to make friends wherever we go. In workplace, if we make friends, then what will happen that work will be enjoyable. So I think everywhere we should try to make friends, and we should try to listen others, as Victor said earlier. We need to listen first. We need to listen the things what other people are saying, and then we can communicate with them. Without listening, uh, we can't understand what actually they need and what actually they are looking for and what actually we are looking for. So for me, first we need to understand ourselves, what we are, what we are, what we are going to like and dislike. First, we need to understand ourselves. After that, we can better understand other people. Yes, Victor. What's your thought on this? That we should be self-aware of ourselves first.
Oh, by all means, self-awareness is key, not only in developing friendships, but in having
Yep.
a successful life. While you were speaking, and I was absorbing what you were saying, it occurred to me the 4 different types of personality. There are 4 broad descriptions that talk about how people are and how they aren't. And some personalities lend themselves to friendship rather easily, and yet other personalities make it very difficult to become a friend. Now, there is a personality that is concerned with processes, how things go, the right way, the wrong way. And if you are a person that focuses on how things go, it's going to be a little difficult to develop friendships.
Yes.
Because everyone has a different way of doing things. And there's this one little pesky thing that I like to talk about called the nuance. The nuances of how things are done often get in the way at how to develop friendships. Now, if you have a series of things that you like to be in place, if you have a checklist that people have to accomplish in order to be your friend, then it's going to be a little difficult to develop friendships. Personally, there are certain requirements that people have to be friends, but the nuance of life will throw many of those requirements to the wind, because there's some friends that I have that you wouldn't expect them to be friends with me. You wouldn't expect us to even have a relationship. But there is that thing that's really hard to describe that can make even the most unusual of combinations can make those people be friends. I saw a movie once, and in the movie, there was a Black woman who was an activist, and there was a white man who was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. But over the course of their struggles, believe it or not, they became friends. In fact, the name of the movie is The Best of Enemies. How about that? They really weren't the best of enemies, they became friends. And the way that they became friends is because that one little thing that's hard to describe, that's hard to name, got injected in the relationship that they had, into the difficulties that they had, that turned them out to be friends. So if you are focused on processes or steps in the process, it's going to be difficult for you to develop friendships. So I say, if you listen to people, if you are in an environment where, like for instance, there's no way that Carla and I could have developed any sort of friendship if she didn't have this show. I could walk by her on the street, I could meet her at a party, any number of things could happen, but the one thing in this instance that made us develop a friendship is that we had access to one another. So sometime prolonged access can build a friendship.
Mm.
And as I have said before, you can destroy friendships by taking over the panel discussion and not
Yeah.
let anybody else see anything.
Let me jump in here. And
Yeah, sure, Willie.
yeah, and good to meet you, Mohammed. And
Thank you.
Salam,
Good to meet you.
and of course, my dear friend, the ever intelligent, the ever glowing Mr. Jenkins. Yes. I hope you heard what I said earlier about bringing flowers, and it's a
Yeah.
big hit, and not that expensive, and it will endear you to anyone. I'm talking about somebody you may meet for the first time, like 2 of the 3 people today at this doctor's office, never saw him before. And just like Brother Jenkins just said, that you have to initiate. You know, there's a great saying: in order to have a friend, you have to be a friend. And so I use an acronym when it comes to friendships. You're going to love this: UFO, right? Unidentified flying object, but that's not what UFO stands for, related to the structure of friendship. UFO: undertake, forgiveness, and overlook. Undertake. What do I mean by that? We have to initiate. In order to have friends, we have to be a friend. And most people on planet Earth are reluctant to undertake. They are reluctant to initiate. And when you don't initiate, you will constipate. In other words, the friendship will never be developed. It will stop short. So when we undertake, we do not constipate. If I can use that word, I know Brother Jenkins will love that, will love me for that. And then there's forgiveness. As we've been saying earlier, that there are always bumps along the road in friendships. And we have to be quick to forgive people, right? There's a great verse in the Hebrew Bible that says, love overlooks a multitude of sins. And love overlooks a multitude of sins. That's from the book of Proverbs, written by the wisest man that ever lived, King Solomon. So we have to undertake, we have to initiate, then we have to forgive, and then and the O stands for overlook. All of us are not perfect. There's not one, there's only been one perfect human being. So even in a marriage, we have to overlook some things. And you've heard this saying, choose your battles, choose your battles. And so in my marriage of 43 years, I overlook a lot of things. I mean, which end of the toothpaste tube, do you squeeze it in the middle, or do you roll it up from the end? Marriages, as a marriage counselor, marriages have been destroyed by simple little things like, how do you get the toothpaste out of the tube? Okay. Do you squeeze it in the middle, or do you roll it up from the end? And so we need to overlook. And at the end of every day, we just need to empty out that bag, because during the day, particularly in marriage or in friendships, we're always adding, I've been offended by this, I've been offended by that, and this person did me wrong, and this person is a hater, and if you can imagine, so that then you have a bag, and you're filling up this bag every day. And what I do at the end of the day is I take that bag and I take it to the trash can, and I dump out all of those things that have happened to me today, and then that bag is empty for the next day. So, hey, Brother Jenkins is a New York Giants fan. All I can say is, don't come to the People's Republic of Philadelphia. You might be assaulted if you wear that jacket. But, if you came to my house, even though I'm not a Giants fan, I will love you, I will accept you, I will receive you, I will undertake, I will forgive, and I will overlook that New York Giants jacket. So UFO, undertake or initiate, forgive, and overlook. Those are really the keys to success when it comes to friendship. Any comment on that? I don't know. Is Carla still with us?
Oh,
Yeah, she's still with us, but
Okay.
I'd like to make one comment.
Yeah, UFO.
It's a friendly thing for me to notice that Nadeem's first name may be Muhammad, but people whose first name is Muhammad generally don't go by their first name. Is that right, Nadeem?
Yes.
So when I address you, I call you Nadeem, and that's a friendly thing to do because I happen to know that of many people whose name is Muhammad, they all prefer to go by their second name. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to comment on.
up, and I think this is very important. When I speak to people around the world, one of the things that I learned from Rehan in the beginning, almost everyone has that name, Muhammad, whatever. And because of that, I have learned, because I said, well, how do I know to call them Muhammad or John Doe? I'm not making fun of you, Nadeem. And he said to me, you asked that question. Now, with Nadeem, when he showed up on the English show and he stopped showing up, I wish I just automatically called him Nadeem. Why, I don't know. So what do your friends call you?
You are asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend,
Nadeem here. And we're talking about your name now.
My friend usually calls me Nadeem. That's a simple word, Nadeem. They don't call me by the full name, just they call me with Nadeem.
So
My
what does Nadeem mean?
And Nadeem, actually, the meaning is, the topic of today is the friend, right? The Nadeem meaning is good friend.
Interesting. Because Nadeem, when I started my relationship with you, I think you had seen the show and you came to me and said, Carla, I want to be on this show. Not only did you say, Carla, I want to be on the show, but immediately you said to me, also, I want to help out. And I looked at this and I thought, I don't know what to think about this. So what made you want to be a part of MindPlore? And I know I'm doing a Rehan Allahwala because I'm putting on the spot when you're live, but I don't think you'll get angry. Go on.
Okay. Actually, the thing is this, Carla, that when I first see your show, there is a different people discussion on one topic, so which makes me wonder that I need to understand how people think from different part of the world. So because here I don't have that much. I don't have that much span of understanding the people in limited resources. Like from this show, I now everybody is listening me on different regions, right? So that means that I need to. They are listening me, and I have listened them so that I can open up my mind as well.
So in other words, you wanted to come to the show because of what MindPlore is, exploring the, making the show, making the mind more important. I'm going to put the links in the show in the chat in a moment. But you also, and I noticed, you also kind of picked me out to be a friend. Why did you decide that you wanted to be Carla's friend?
Yeah, that
You don't want
is that
here, I don't know.
the thing is this: when I listen your show on the English speaking with Carla, you remember first I came to your show and we discussed about the things, and I see your effort, what effort you are making. So that thing bring me that I need to be your friend. So that's the first thing came to in my mind. Whatever happened, I need to be your friend. So also you remember we talked with Mara, and I also discussed with her that I need to be friend with Carla. So she also talked to you already.
Oh,
So she
yeah.
also helped me about that. So that's the first thing, that you are doing great thing with the people to speak the English. And so this is the first thing which I came to in my mind. I have to be on your show and I have to be your friend.
Okay, so did you see friendship as something that will help you? Or did you see friendship as something that could be a mutual agreed thing?
Now, I see friendship, it's like Mr. Williams said, that it's about forgiveness. It's about, I don't see, if I'm making somebody my friend, I will in return, I don't think I will expect anything from them. I will give my good, my best part, and from them, if I'm doing good myself, then automatically the other person will give good to me. If 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 my intention is bad, then other person also 80% chances that his intentions are going to be bad.
Thank you. Do you
Thank
see
you.
how these questions fit into the show perfectly today?
Yes,
And
it's all about friendship.
yeah, it's all about friendship. And I am careful about who I bring into my circle because it's very important to me that the people who come into my circle are people who are in alignment with me. Especially in the past few years, I've been changing my mindset. And there are old friends who are not necessarily friends right now because I realized it was keeping me back. I was thinking negatively about myself. And when you think negatively about yourself, you have nothing to give to anyone else. But when you change your mindset to something positive, and you're moving on that frame of mind, then you begin to realize, oh, I don't need to look at the world as it is. It's better to imagine the world I want to see. And as you begin imagining that world as you want to see it, what happens is that world becomes your reality. Reverend, today's weird. Pastor Billy, what do you have to say on that one?
Yeah, I'm really loving this conversation because I love my friends, and I love always coming on MindPlore because we talk about such positive, life affirming items. Who's talking about the concept or the system of friendship? Well, here we are, Carla with MindPlore. And so that's why I love coming on, because we talk about the deeper things in life. And, Nadeem, thank you for just coming on. And you undertook something that you probably, with your relationship with MindPlore and with Carla, that there you were on the English show, and now you're a guest on MindPlore. And I have the same experience. I think it was 2 years ago, I bumped into Rehan at the Middle East Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C., which is, I mean, there's thousands of people that come to this in this huge banquet room. And it was amazing. I saw Rehan, didn't know him. And I just reached out to him and I said, hey, how are you? And he saw that I had a clergy collar on, and he said, well, who are you? And, one thing led to another. Rehan said, well, you need to meet Carla. And then he connected me with Carla, began coming on MindPlore. And that's the amazing thing about friendship, that, here we are later. I believe I met him in February. It had to be February of 2020 because it was pre-pandemic.
February of 2019, because I was there. You didn't know this. I was there talking to people in the lobby because I didn't have a ticket. So I couldn't get to the breakfast, and Rehan kept on saying, since the breakfast started, you had to register on Tuesday.
Right.
And he was invited to the breakfast. And he said, Carla, it's just too much. And I said, yeah, I agree. I wasn't really interested in going. But I have a whole bunch of pictures of people I met, selfies of people I met at that breakfast in the lobby. And you were not one of them.
I know.
That's so cool. Rehan, I didn't see until the end of at breakfast.
Yeah. Well, Carla, this is the first time I'm learning about that. We were in the same space, and we could have met, but we didn't. And Rehan was the connection. And isn't that a beautiful thing? And, when I look at my friendships, there's often people, and this is a little out there, but when I meet someone and then I look back at our friendship, like I have a friend I've known for 20 years when I worked in business, and he introduced me to this person, and then that person introduced me to that person. And so I am now in that one friendship from 20 years ago, I am now down 6 iterations or 6 layers of friendship. So I could say that one person, Scott, introduced me to the next person, the next person, the next person, the next person. And now that one friendship has produced the fruit of 5 other people I know because of that one friendship. But that's I think, again, to bring God into this, that's a beautiful thing about friendship, that friendships are created by God, and the concept of friendship created by God. And there's a great verse in the Tanakh, in the Hebrew Bible, where God said to Adam, the first man, he said, it's not good man to be alone. So God created Eve, and here we are thousands of years later. So that's a great story, Carla. Thanks for sharing that. I did not know that you were at the Middle East prayer breakfast there at that hotel in Washington, D.C. That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, I remember, and actually it took a few weeks for Rehan to make that connection. It did not happen. It happened maybe a few weeks later. And by that time, Rehan had been working together for about 3 years. So it was something that created itself. So, Victor, to be honest, came into my circle because of the, right, Victor?
Your word went away again. Because of what?
We got together because of the English conference about 2 years ago.
No. We got together because of Toastmasters.
No, it was the English conference.
The person that introduced me to you was a Toastmaster, and by virtue of the fact that she was a Toastmaster, she put me in your face. So I would say Toastmaster was the precipitating event.
But the reality is, by the way, I just put the links in the chat. The reality is, I was looking for people for the English conference.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
that was my first experience with you.
yeah. And that's what brought you to me.
Yeah.
For Pastor Billy, Rehan does this all the time. I get at least, he's kind of coming down only because I haven't been able to keep up with it quickly. But every day I get a new group of new people that he introduces me to.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. That I often ask people, because I have so many friends, thanks be to God, that how did we first meet? And it's really encouraging for me. They'll say to me, Pastor Billy, you don't remember? And I'm like, hey, I got a lot of relationships. I got 5 kids and their 5 spouses and 11 grandchildren. So, and my wife of 43 years. So forgive me. And then it's great it encourages them that I'm asking them, how did we first meet? And when Victor and Carla were talking about, Victor has one interpretation of it and Carla has another interpretation of it, and that's fine. The important thing is that you met, right? That's the important thing. And the details may be sketchy, or we may have a different memory of how we met. And, the other thing I wanted to jump in here with is, and Nadeem, you reminded me of this when you were talking about your name, Nadeem. One of the things I do to initiate a friendship, I'll ask somebody, their name is Victor or Carla or Nadeem. I'll say, hey, do you know what your name means? And 90% of the people I ask that to, they have no idea what their name, like, hey, Matthew, do you know what your name means? No. Hey, it means gift of God. Elizabeth, do you know what your name means? No. Well, it means dedicated to God. Victor, you're victorious, right? You're the victor. And so that's one of the common items that I always use, is just loving people and asking them what their name means. And great thing. So,
Well, let me jump right in here and tell you this. From the time I was a boy, and I can remember, I knew what my name meant. And when my mother would introduce me to her friends or to anybody, I would parrot out the definition. You want me to tell you what it means?
yeah.
He who wins or gains an advantage. That's what I would always say. My name is Victor. Want me to tell you what it means? He who wins or gains an advantage. Now, for the first 10, 12, 14 years of my life, I had no idea what those words meant. All I knew was the words. He who wins or gains an advantage. And later on in life, when I heard the phrase, to the victor goes the spoils, it finally started coming together. And now as an adult, I declare many times during the course of my life that I am a victor, not a victim, because so many have adopted the cloak of being a victim. I am a victor, not a victim. So I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to pontificate on what my names mean. There's a
Yeah.
movie that I enjoy called Pulp Fiction. And I know it's a pretty sketchy movie, but there's one line in there where the guy is asking somebody what their name meant. And then he asked him, well, what your name? He says, I'm American. Our names don't mean squat.
You know, and let me add to that, Carla and Nadeem, I want you to jump in, but I people often ask our 5 kids, Naomi, Sarah, Luke, Zachariah, and Lydia. And I always encourage young couples who are pregnant. I say, look, I know you're having a lot of discussions about what you're going to name your little boy, your little girl, but I think give your child a name of destiny, a name of destiny. Wow. Victor, what was your mother thinking when you first came out? You were thinking good thoughts about you. He who wins, he gains an advantage. I mean, you can't get any better than that. And so, you know, our firstborn, Naomi, means pleasant one. Sarah means princess. Luke means light. Zachariah means God has remembered. So I always tell couples, wow, give your baby, your little boy, your little girl, a name. And Victor, that's a great story. I mean, if your mom is still with it, I would love to call her and say thank you for naming Victor Victor, because he's living up to his name.
No, she's gone on, but another story since I'm here, right? Another story. 2 weeks before she died, he just happened to say to me, he says, you know, son, I did lots of things in my life. I did some good things and I did some bad things. But boy, when I had you, that was something good that I did.
So when did your mom pass?
About 10 years ago.
Yeah. What a great woman. And you know, thank you for that remembrance. And you're reflecting the greatness of your mother in your life. Amen. That's great. Wow. Oh, Carla, how did you get the name Carla?
My grandfather, Jewish religion, you pick the first initial of someone who has passed on. My grandfather's name was Carl,
Ah,
and I became Carla.
that's great.
Nadeem, how did you get?
I get my name.
Maybe yeah, I think it's coming in from Nadeem, but you're breaking up some. There's a lot of interference. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, my name came randomly. There is no thought behind it.
What was that?
It came from my grandfather. It came from my grandfather. And the meaning of my name is good friend. So it reflects in me. Whoever makes friendship with me, I always keep up with their expectations.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yes. And you live where do you live? Where are you calling from, Nadeem?
I live in Pakistan, Islamabad.
Yeah. I've been there. I've been to 7 cities: Lahore, Sialkot, Faisalabad, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, etc. So it's good to meet you, and thank you for being on the call today.
Thanks to you.
It's great to have you as a friend.
Yes.
It's amazing how the connections are made. And I think everyone here, maybe not Nadeem yet. I know Victor has been made a friend by Rehan. And I know, obviously, Pastor Billy. what I have found, and maybe I shouldn't say it on air because it'll change immediately, that most of my friends become Rehan's friends, which
Ah,
is rather cool. And
yeah. And the flip side too, Rehan's friends become your friends.
right.
Yeah, that's great. God bless.
I have been blessed with some amazing people from the shows. Really, I mean, they're crazy, but they have to be crazy to have a relationship with me. But they're there when I really need them to be there. And that's part of friendship,
Yes.
being there for another person. In fact, my poor cats, or my wonderful cats, have been sharing their food with my neighbor because she ran out of food. And they're sharing food these days.
Mm. Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Carla, thanks for hosting the show. Thanks for having all of us on. And we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. How's that? That's my line.
You know, when you first said that to me, and I barely knew you, it drove me nuts.
Okay.
But I finally realized he's going to say it every day, and I accepted it.
All right.
Do you have anything to say, Mr. Irving?
Oh no, it's no. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here and talking about friendship.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I am exhausted.
Yeah. So, well, Carla, if I could bring these flowers to your front door, I would, but you'll just have to look at them and appreciate them.
When are you coming back to DC, Pastor Billy?
I'm actually going to be down there for the International Religious Freedom Summit, which is the end of January. Yeah. It coincides with the International Prayer Breakfast. So they moved both events together. So yeah. So I'll be down there at the end of the month. So are you going to the prayer breakfast and you're going to hang out in the lobby of the Washington Hilton?
Do you know that time I did it, I didn't realize how much the parking was.
Yeah, I know.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Luckily, I had a friend there to help.
Yeah, that's right. Park far away and just take an Uber in. That's all.
Or maybe take an Uber from my house to there because it's only about 20 minutes away.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, thank you, Carla. Thank you, Nadeem. Thank you.
No, I'm leaving until final words are done. I'm starting with Nadeem. Do you have any final words for this?
Yeah. I will say that true friends will be there for you through the good and bad times and will accept you who you are.
That's very true. Victor?
When you're down in trouble and you need a helping hand, nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You got a friend.
There you go. All
That's
right.
my favorite songs.
Yeah, I was in the floor. I was gonna do the whole thing, but I realized no, just go ahead and get to the good part. You got a friend.
But do you realize when I was, and Pastor Billy will appreciate it, when I was in college, I remember going with some friends to Bryn Mawr to a coffee house, seeing James Taylor, and that was one of the songs he sung that night.
Yeah. And would you believe I'm sitting in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania right now? Right.
Wow.
I pulled over in a parking lot in the Bryn Mawr Hospital where I just had a procedure done. So is that coffee house still around, Carla?
I have no idea. I haven't been back to Philadelphia in many, many years.
Yeah. What was the name of the coffee house?
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
It's probably right on the main street here, but yeah, I mean, things have changed since you've been here. Ever since you left, it's gone downhill. So, yes.
Really?
All right. No, it's fine. That was just a note of appreciation for you, that wherever you go, Carla, you have an impact. So when you leave, then it goes downhill, right? But you're good.
The
Yep.
friendly joke.
A friendly joke. Yes. There you go. All right.
Nadeem, oh, you said something. Victor, you said something, and I said something. We all said something.
We're good.
And wave goodbye because I can see that Pastor Billy is itching to go. Pastor Billy, are you actually driving or sitting?
No, I pulled over as soon as I logged on. So I've been sitting in a parking lot at Bryn Mawr Hospital since in the hour we've been on. So yeah, no, I don't drive and do MindPlore. That's very dangerous because I get too excited when I'm on MindPlore. So thank you, Carla.
Thank you so very much, Pastor Billy, for getting on. Thank you, Victor, for coming. Thank you, Nadeem. We will be back next week with another topic. I have no idea what it'll be right now, but can we wave? Bye. Bye, everyone. And like
Goodbye, Carla.
Billy just took off. Bye.